I love a good market bag, but I've never been super fond of large holes in my bags, so I created this design with that in mind. I tried out a new technique and I think you're really gonna love it. It's super easy and I can't wait to show you how to make it. Stay tuned! The concept of the base of the bag is very simple. I begin with a round of 12 double crochet and increase for 8 rounds, followed by 3 rounds of regular double crochet. So the size of the bag is easily adjustable because you can take away increase rounds or do fewer rounds following the increase rounds. It's really up to you. To begin, make a slip knot, leaving a small tail, and chain 5. Now you will slip stitch in the first chain to create a ring. Chain 2, this will not count as a stitch, and place 12 double crochet within that ring, crocheting over the top of your tail as you go. You could realistically make a magic ring here if that is your preference. Once you have made your 12 double crochet, skip over your beginning chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of your first double crochet. Now turn it over and pull your tail tight to cinch it closed. I'm going to weave that in later, so it doesn't matter. Chain 2, which will not count as a stitch, and we are going to increase in each stitch around. So you're going to place 2 double crochet in each stitch around. You should end up with 24 double crochet at the end of this round, and just remember your beginning chain 2 does not count as a stitch. I'm going to skip ahead and meet you at the end of this round in just a moment. So now you will skip over the beginning chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. This is how it should look. Now we are going to chain 2, will not count as a stitch, and increase in that same stitch. We are going to place 1 double crochet in the next stitch. We are essentially increasing every other stitch. There should be 1 double crochet between each of your increases. We're going to repeat this all the way to the end. Skip over your beginning chain 2 and slip stitch into the top of your first double crochet. Now we're going to chain 2 and increase in that same stitch. Going to follow it by 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. Increase in the next stitch. We are going to be increasing every 3rd stitch in this round. So you will be increasing and then placing 1 double crochet in 2 stitches, then increasing again all the way to the end. Slip stitch into the top of your beginning double crochet. Chain 2. Increase in the first stitch. Now we're going to place 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Increase in the next stitch. And place 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. We are essentially increasing every fourth stitch. So increase and place 1 double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches, all the way around. Skip over that beginning chain 2 and slip stitch into your first double crochet. You should be seeing a pattern by now. You will add 1 double crochet in between each increase, and we're going to go 3 more rounds of increase. This is how it will look. You're going to increase for a total of 8 rounds. So here I have finished my 8 rounds of increase, and it measures approximately 10.5 inches or about 27 centimeters. Now I'm going to do 3 rounds of double crochet without any increases. This is what it should look like when you have your 3 rounds of double crochet done. It should start to bowl up and make the base of the bag. Now for the fun part. The way that I made this mesh is actually very easy. I'm sure you've even seen it done before. I'm going to call this the Exaggerated Waistcoat Stitch. I don't know if it's been done before because I've never seen anyone use it, but I'm sure it's been done before. It's very easy to do. It makes a nice mesh, but it doesn't leave huge holes. To make it, you will begin by making a tall loop of about 3/4 of 1 inch or 2 centimeters. Then you will place your hook in that same stitch, yarn over and draw up another tall loop of about the same height. Yarn over and draw through 2. We are going to place 1 chain in between each of these stitches. So now you will skip the next stitch. Put your hook in the very next stitch, yarn over, pull up a tall loop. Yarn over, go through both loops on your hook. Chain 1 and skip the next stitch. Place your hook in the next stitch, yarn over and draw up a tall loop. Yarn over and go through 2 loops. You will want to work slowly at first because you want your stitches to be the same height. I'm using these 2 fingers here to help control the size of my stitches. Yarn over, pull up a tall loop, grab those loops and hold them. Yarn over, draw through both loops. Chain 1, skip 1. Going to repeat this all the way around. Here I am at the end. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet. Now I'm going to make a tall loop and place my hook in between the 2 vertical bars of the single crochet. This is called a waistcoat stitch. Yarn over, pull up a tall loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. Chain 1 and skip to the next single crochet. Go between the 2 vertical bars. Also looks like a V here. Yarn over, pull up a tall loop, yarn over, draw through both loops, chain 1, skip to the next one. This is really just exaggerating the waistcoat stitch. That's what gives it the knitted look. I'm going to continue making this exaggerated waistcoat stitch all the way around. Work slowly to make sure that your stitches are the same size. Draw up loop, yarn over, go through 2, chain 1, skip to the next one. This round will be exactly like the last round. You're going to repeat this process all the way around until you get to the end. Here I've chained one, I'm skipping the last one, and I'm slip stitching into the top of that first single crochet. Now we're going to go back to making a round of double crochet, so you chain 2. Now I'm going to place my double crochet in the same place that I placed my single crochets, in between the 2 vertical bars of the single crochet. Place your next double crochet in the chain 1 space between the singles. Next double crochet in between the 2 vertical bars. Place a double in the next chain 1 space. You're going to repeat this all the way around, placing a double crochet in between the vertical bars of the single crochet and in the chain 1 spaces between the single crochet. All the way till you get to the end, slip stitching into the top of the first double. Now we're going back to the exaggerated waistcoat stitch. Draw up a tall loop, yarn over, pull up a tall loop, yarn over, go through 2, and chain 1, skip 1. Place your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a tall loop, yarn over, go through 2, chain 1, skip 1. You're going to repeat this all the way around, just like we did before. All the way till you get to the end. You're going to do 3 rounds total, followed by 1 round of double crochet, just like we did here. Here in the demo bag, you see I did 3 rounds of the exaggerated waistcoat stitch, separated by 1 round of double crochet. Here I'm going to add the handles. So fold your bag in half. I want my handles to be about 5 inches long or about 13 centimeters long. So I'm going to come down to the bag and measure about 2.5 inches in from the side seam. I'm going to place a stitch marker in that spot. Now I'm going to count how many stitches it is from the stitch marker to the side seam. It's 9 stitches. So now I'm going to count 9 stitches over from the seam to the inside and mark that stitch since I know that equals 2.5 inches. There should be 18 stitches between the markers, and it should measure about 5 inches or about 13 centimeters. Now I'm going to fold it in half again and repeat this process to the other side. I'm going to count 9 stitches in from the side seam on both sides and place a stitch marker. Now that I have my stitches marked off where I want my handles, I'm going to continue in a round of double crochet. So chain 2, which does not count as a stitch, and place 1 double crochet in each stitch until you reach the stitch marker. I'm going to chain the number of stitches that I skipped. So there are 18 stitches in between those stitch markers. So I'm going to make a chain of 18. Once you've made your chain of 18, skip over and place a double crochet in the stitch following your stitch marker. Now, as you can see, this is not a very big handle. I made it just so that it would be the right size to fit on my forearm. If you wanted to make a shoulder bag, then you would have to make it much bigger than what I made. You simply would just need to add more chains. So now I'm going to continue making double crochet in each stitch until I get to the next stitch marker. Now I'm going to repeat the process I did on the other side and chain 18. Once I have made my chain of 18, I'm going to make a double crochet in the stitch following the stitch marker. And I'm going to continue making double crochets in each stitch until I reach the end of this round. Chain 1 and make a round of single crochets. I'm going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch until I reach the chain that I made for the handle. Once I'm there, I'm going to chain 1 and then I'm going to place half double crochets for the handle. I'm not going to put it in the chain space. I'm going to put it in the back loop only of those chains that I made. I'm going to put 1 half double crochet in each chain in the back loop only of the handle. When I'm finished, I should have 18 half double crochets for the handle. I'm going to repeat that until I get to the end. So here I am at the end. I'm going to chain 1 and start placing single crochets in the tops of the double crochet again. I'm going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way till I get to the next stitch marker. Just like before, I'm going to chain 1 and I'm going to put a half double crochet in the back loop only of each chain that I made for the handle. I'm going to repeat that until I come to the end of the chain. Now I'm going to chain 1 and finish this round by making 1 single crochet in the top of each stitch. Going to do that until the end of this round. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch in the top of the beginning single crochet, but I'm not going to stop there. To give my bag a nice finished look, I'm going to slip stitch in every stitch around the top of the bag. I'm going to show you a few, and then I'm going to meet you at the end. When you get through with this round of slip stitches, just fasten off and weave in your tails. So now I'm going to teach you how to make this tassel. If you notice, mine's a little crooked, so I'm going to try to show you a different way than the way I did it the first time. You'll need two 20mm beads, a 45mm or 2-inch wooden ring. I'm going to make my tassel using my fingers, but if you'd like to wrap a piece of cardboard, it's about 4 to 4.5 inches. I'm going to wrap about 25 to 30 times, just until I feel like the tassel's the size I want. Cut the tassel and set it to the side. Now you're going to cut another piece of yarn about 8 to 12 inches. I probably could have made it shorter, honestly. Fold it in half, and then loop it around the wooden ring as if you were putting a tassel on it. We're going to use this to attach it to the bag. So find the middle of your handle and count in 9 stitches, or whatever it is to get to the middle. Then you're going to go down 1 row. And we're going to draw the loops to the back, to the inside of the bag. You want to make sure it's good and in the center before you secure it. Then knot it off about 3 times in the back. We're just going to weave these tails in later, so I could have made them shorter. Now take another length of yarn, probably 8 to 12 inches here, but I probably could have made it shorter. We're going to attach this strand just like we did the other one, as if it were a tassel. We're going to use this strand to attach the wooden ring to the bag at the bottom. If you'll notice how loose it is, I don't like that, so I'm going to actually attach it directly below the top of the other one, a few rows down. I'm going to bring the tails to the back, to the inside of the bag once again, and knot it off. This will be the way that we attach our wooden beads. This is a little more challenging. This is also a length of yarn about 8 to 12 inches long. I'm making a tassel around the one that's already there. Pull it tight, and then grab your wooden bead. Place your wooden bead on your smaller hook, and then draw the ends through. You're going to do that twice. Now grab your tassel tails and fold them in half. Open those ends and place it in the center. You're going to gently tie the first time. You don't want to push those up too high. And then you're going to knot it off. Straighten out the tails and then add a strand at the top to hold them together. You can do this many ways, but this is just the way that I like to do it. Now straighten out the tails and cut them to where they are an even length. Your mesh market bag is now complete. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.